So, I know that you've got some sort of goal in mind, and if not goal, then at the very least some sort of destination, like wanting something specific, wanting to earn a certain amount, wanting to go somewhere, wanting a certain promotion at your job. Even something as simple as just wanting to buy a car is a goal. But regardless of what it is that we want and wherever we want to go, there's something there that always manages to slip in. And whether things are going good or bad, that thing is self-sabotage. People, me, you, tend to sabotage yourself away from your goals. It's something that happens so often, and it's a pattern of behavior that is just so incredibly frustrating. So let's have a little chat about what you can do to stop pushing yourself away from your goals and push yourself towards them instead. I have a feeling you do at least one of these three things, sometimes without even realizing it. You either speak negatively about yourself, you oftentimes procrastinate, and you have a fear of failing before you even make a start. So let's take a bit of a deeper dive into each and every single one of them, and let's see what we can figure out. Negative self-talk is a really bad habit that can seriously throw you off track, even when things are going well, because your body doesn't know different from what is good and what is bad. Your body just feels. And I feel like there's this type of energy about negativity, and that just really gets to you and can really impact you without you even thinking that it does. Because when you do nothing but criticize yourself, eventually you're just going to feel unworthy and like you're just not capable of achieving the things you set yourself to. And eventually your body and your mind just believes it. Even though things could be going really well, things will actually take a negative turn because of the way you speak to yourself. And that will just make the chances of you succeeding or getting better even less, which will in turn knock your confidence down even more. And it's just like this vicious cycle that goes around and around that you do yourself without even realizing it. But the hard truth is that your thoughts aren't always reflective of your actual true abilities, because you could be really good at something, but you just don't believe that you are, which in turn can actually in fact impact you in a way and make you a little bit worse. It really isn't a great cycle. Negative self-talk really does weigh people down. And I know it's difficult to, accept yourself and reward yourself and just accept that you've just done a good job. But the more you do it, you'll just naturally get better at things, simply through believing in yourself that little bit more. It may not seem like much, but it really will put a stop on the constant focus on the failure side of things. Because believe it or not, you're gonna have highs as well. Not everything is just a down. Things obviously go up and down, but things go well, things go bad. Things go well, things go bad, and so on and so forth. So celebrate the times where it did go well. Learn from it. If it went well, why did it go well? What can I do more of that to have more good moments than bad moments? Focus on the goods. Because although failure is important, yes, you should learn from it, of course. You don't want to keep repeating the same mistakes. Absolutely not. But you do want to repeat the things that you've done well, because why wouldn't you want to repeat them? So let's go on to the next thing, which is procrastination. The absolute arch nemesis of so many of us. We all put things off to the side. We can't be bothered to do this now. We can't be bothered to do that, full stop. And we just don't want to do it. So what do? Well, we procrastinate on it. But what is the most common thing with procrastination? Well, it's the tendency to just leave it until the last minute. But when we leave it to the last minute, we tend to rush it, and then we just end up with subpar results. And what do we do with subpar results? Well, not much, aside from just be disappointed from them. Obviously, it's easier to put it off. It's safer, it's more comfortable. It definitely feels like it saves you time in the moment. It's just better that way, isn't it? Or at the very least, that's how it feels. And also, what you don't do, you can't mess up. So we kind of tend to protect ourselves that way a little bit as well. But procrastination is only a short-term fix. It only really gives us fulfillment there and then. Because maybe you just don't feel ready. Maybe you just don't feel like you don't know what to do. Maybe you just don't know where to start. And all of that's all right. But procrastination will never answer any of those questions. Constantly figuring out, well, what do I do? How do I do this? So on and so forth, really. And then all of that just accumulates to more and more overall. Because have you ever noticed how you feel so energized and just productive and just so ready to go when you complete something even as simple as just cleaning up your room, going downstairs, cleaning the kitchen, taking the bins out, whatever it is. In a moment it feels great, doesn't it? You feel like you've accomplished something in a sense, even though it's something so small. And I know it might sound daft, but you've definitely felt it before, haven't you? When you finish something, even something simple or easy or quick, you felt that little sense of accomplishment, didn't you? So now imagine that little sense of accomplishment regularly throughout the day, throughout the week, throughout the month, just doing small things all the time, not putting them off. It's just going to accumulate to this constant sense of just getting things done, and it makes you feel better. And the more you do things, well, the less likely you are to put them off, because you actually realize how easy they are. And I know sometimes we know something is easy and we still put it off, but when we keep forcing ourselves, sometimes not even forcing, just we keep up with the consistency of doing little things all the time, it just becomes second nature. So procrastination just kind of automatically gets thrown out the window. You just get it done. And then the dopamine you get from all of that is knowing they've made progress, or you've done something productive and positive for you or for someone else, rather than the little bit of a dopamine hit you're going to get from putting it off at the time. One thing I bet that a lot of people, including yourself, struggle with is the fear of failure. And it's kind of like combining all of it together, including perfectionism, probably. You might sit there not knowing what to do, so you're going to spend hours and hours and hours perfecting certain things that probably don't even matter, just to then find out that someone's created something bigger, better, grander, and just be left with this sense of disappointment because you just spent so long trying to get that one thing well, get it right, make it perfect, when in reality, making something, well, essentially crap, and then learning from it would have been significantly better. And just accepting that failure, instead of being afraid of it, embrace it. Bring it in, learn from it, understand it. What has that failure done for you in order for you to improve for next time? Failure is good, it is needed. Without failure, you don't improve. The fear of failure essentially just creates this vicious cycle of just indecision and inaction, which is your absolute worst enemy, really. It's like this sense of being paralyzed, where you just think you aren't good enough, when in reality you probably are, probably a lot more than you realize. You just don't allow yourself to think that. The main strategy that I recommend to anybody to avoid self-sabotage, it's worked for me and countless other people, is to focus on growth every single time. It doesn't matter what happens. If it's gone bad, if it's gone well, if it's mediocre, great. To all three of those things. Why? Why is it this? Why is it that? Ask yourself that every single time. And eventually you're going to find yourself, essentially no matter what happens, you're going to learn from it. Because I do believe that's one of the greatest mindsets to have. Whatever happens, why has it happened? Why is it this way? Why is it like that? But instead of asking a negative question as to why this, make your why curious. Make your why fun and learn from it. Because then every failure simply becomes a challenge for you to overcome next time. Every win becomes like a personal best you can try and beat the next time. And it's almost like no matter what, you always have a target to reach for or exceed. Another way you can look at these things is that then you will view things as opportunities. When you look at something as an opportunity, I feel like you're more than likely to engage with it than just put it off to the side or just completely ignore it, especially if this is an opportunity that you yourself created from last time, as we just spoke about failing or winning. And all in all, thinking about everything as like a challenge or a goal or an opportunity removes the need for negative self-talk, because, well, that's no longer in question, really, is it? Because you're just going to get it. You're going to go try. Fear of failure definitely goes out the window, because now, well, everything's an opportunity, everything's a chance. It's no longer of, well, will it work, won't it work? Procrastination, probably the most hardest out of those three to tackle, but it might still be there, might not. But the more fun you have with it, I think that's the most important thing. The more fun you have with something, the less likely you are to procrastinate about it. So the more fun you make this challenging, the more fun you make this growth, the better. In a sense, you can flip the switch on anything. You can flip the switch of self-sabotage to self-improvement if you really wanted to. It's obviously not easy, but it is possible with the right mindset. All the different things we mentioned and said today will probably help with that. It might not fix it, but it will definitely help. The most important thing to remember is that with consistency and effort, any of these things are possible. And I generally do really mean that. So breaking free from self-sabotage will take time, and it will take effort, and it won't happen overnight. Unfortunately, I know, I wish it did. But as long as you're patient and you put in the steps to overcome all these things, it will happen. So remember that breaking free from self-sabotage is very possible. It will just take some time and some patience, but you can get there.